everybody, happy Friday and welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host Sinead DeFries and this is the daily show where we bring you the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us this morning is AMC production manager Dennis Zen.
Hello and everyone, welcome back to another brand new episode of AMC Movie Talk. It's a Jurassic World day, gonna go check that out later. And you guys can't see this, but Mark here is rocking the basketball shorts. He looks like he just came out from the Cavs Warriors game.
Kids. Ready to ball. Hey, the Cavs might need me. All right.
Yeah.
Dellavedova looks tired. I'm ready to go.
LeBron's hurt.
Bring it.
Also, is that new hair gel or what?
No, I was trying to go Gordon Gekko this morning, and I ended up not looking anything like Michael Douglas. So I figured I'm just going to show up, and people are just going to have to deal with it. Hi, ladies.
You're looking real slick.
But is it a good look?
Yes, it's a great look. It's AMC's Mark Ellis and all of his hair.
Thank you.
And also AMC's Mr. David Griffin.
I'm David Griffin, and I am my lack of hair, but it is a Jurassic World, as Dennis said, and I am happy to live in a Jurassic World. Happy to be here.
All right, while promoting the Blu-ray release of Kingsman: The Secret Service, director Mathew Vaughn admitted in an interview with Yahoo UK that he was indeed working on the script for a sequel to the comic book-based movie. Vaughn stated, "Well, the good news is that I'm writing it next door at the moment. If I think I can get the script good enough, then we are making it. So again, stay tuned, but we are doing our damnedest to make that happen." The first movie made over $400 million worldwide on an $80 million budget, so it's no surprise that a sequel is in the works. However, the original movie was based on a limited 6-issue series by creator Mark Millar, who has yet to write a comic book sequel. Dennis, what are your thoughts on a Kingsman sequel?
Well, I really enjoyed the first one. Me, Schnepp, and Alicia did a spoilers review of it, and we all enjoyed it, and I liked it. That being said, I never really thought at the end, like, I have to see a sequel to this. Am I glad they're doing it? Yes. And well, I definitely check it out. But there's also some, I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen the first one, but it's definitely going to be a different movie than the first one because of stuff that happens. And so I'm interested in seeing what they do with it. Also, even though he says he's working on the script, and it did make a lot of money, so it's most likely going to get a sequel, but that doesn't mean 100% there's going to be a sequel. He may get distracted. Maybe the script doesn't work out the way he wants it to, and he may get other projects that distract him, and it's possible that it's not 100% sequel coming. Mark?
Yeah, this seems to be something that's on his mind right now anyway, with the success of the movie and the Blu-rays too. So I like that Mathew Vaughn is taking the approach of, hey, I'm going to work on a script, and if I can get it good enough, then we're going to make it. If I don't like where it's going, I'm not going to worry about it. The fact that Mark Millar he hasn't written a sequel to it yet, gives me some concern, but I think that watching this universe, I love watching this movie, and there's so many more stories you can tell. This might be something that Mathew Vaughn wants to revisit now or 10, 15 years down the road, because Mathew Vaughn is going to have no shortage of opportunities with projects, either in the big budget world, in a Star Wars galaxy, something else, or a smaller film. So he can come back to Kingsman at any time he wants. It seems to be the forefront of his mind right now. Whether he can get that script in shape to want to make a movie now or later, that's still up in the air.
David?
This needs to happen. I want to see it happen. I love Kingsman. It has that James Bond feeling. They could easily make sequels off of this. I mean, such a good creative team that created this whole concept anyway with Secret Service. I mean, you had Mark Millar, you had Dave Gibbons, who was the artist behind Watchmen, of course, the famous series there. I think it would be incredible if they made this. And also, it's just Mark Millar, everything he does is just going to gold.
Yeah.
He has a series out right now that just finished yesterday or Wednesday called Chrononauts, and that got picked up. I mean, he has a series called Superior, which might be optioned up for a movie. I mean, everything he writes, he puts out. He's a workaholic. I bet he already has a story in his head that he could be coordinating with Mathew Vaughn. Maybe we just don't know about it.
Do we
yet.
think that he has to? I mean, I would think he would have to be working with Vaughn in order to make the Kingsman film the sequel that we want, right?
I'm hoping so.
Yeah. So I guarantee that his publisher wants to put out another Secret Service series because of the film success, for sure.
Well, and don't forget, Civil War, that was Mark Millar.
Yeah.
He did that for Marvel, and now they're making a movie. I mean, we don't know how closely they're going to stick to his storyline, but that definitely was his concept.
Isn't he the go-to guy on basically a lot of the X-Men and all the Fox? He's kind of their advisor.
And explains his working relationship with Vaughn too,
right,
because of Days of Future Past, which Vaughn helped create, and then First Class, which Vaughn directed. So,
and then what do you think about Mark Millar if he isn't part of this sequel writing process? Are you guys concerned?
I would be a little concerned, but I'd still, I don't think it's a reason to hold back the project, because Vaughn has such a directorial flair in the way that he made this movie and crafted this universe. A lot of it is on him as well. So I think that he understands this world enough to give us another story.
Well, I haven't read The Secret Service because I guess the original title is The Secret Service, not Kingsman. But I heard it's loosely based on it. It's not like an exact panel for panel, scene by scene type of translation. What about you, David?
I think that's a good thing. I think because of the loosely based concept, Matthew Vaughn can take it where he wants to go. I think that, for me, that was a problem with Watchmen. I think Watchmen was too loyal. I mean, if you read the comic, it's almost, there's some parts that are almost word for word, which it's a beautiful comic book, but it's just almost too loyal. I like Game of Thrones, when showrunners and directors and writers start taking liberties and making it their own, I think it becomes better.
They're taking a lot of liberties with Game of Thrones recently. Yeah, but hey, I don't read the book, so I don't care.
Yes. All right, what's next?
A few months ago, it was being reported that Chiwetel Ejiofor would be appearing in Doctor Strange. However, we didn't know what character he would be playing. According to Deadline, Ejiofor will be playing Baron Mordo, a Transylvanian nobleman who became a student of Doctor Strange's mentor, the Ancient One, and then later becomes enemies with Strange. In the report, it says that this version of Baron Mordo may not necessarily be evil, as he may be more of an amalgamation of characters from the Doctor Strange comic books. The film is being directed by Scott Derrickson and stars Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange hits AMC theaters on November 4th, 2016. Mark, what are your thoughts on who Ejiofor is playing?
Marvel is like at a home run derby right now with casting. They're knocking everything out of the park. This is another upper deck shot, because putting this guy in this movie, I'm really excited for this movie, because you combine Scott Derrickson and Benedict Cumberbatch, which I never got that excited about him being cast as Doctor Strange, because we always assumed it was going to happen. That always seemed like the no-brainer. Putting Ejiofor in this role, and we were talking in the last segment about how you don't have to stick so closely to the comic book that loyalty can be a fault. I think they're taking the right approach with this character. It might be an amalgam of many different characters in the Doctor Strange universe, and I want to let all the fans of that comic book know that Marvel is really good at taking liberties, but also staying true to the source material from a thematic standpoint. So I think this is great casting.
David?
Chiwetel's the man. I mean, not just because of his performance in 12 Years a Slave, but because of Serenity. As soon as, when I saw, I didn't know who he was, but when I saw Serenity, Joss Whedon's Serenity, based off the Firefly television series, I said, that boy is a good actor. And he was a great villain. So even though he might not be a villain, as they're saying, he could be this combination of a bunch of different characters, I hope he's a villain. He's a great villain. I mean, he was one of the better villains I've seen in recent years, in Serenity. He was just so good, so cold, so calculating, just one of those just awesome villains. Chiwetel can play the victim. He can play 12 Years a Slave, but he can also play the stand tall and proud villain too. He can do both. He can do anything.
Well, I'm glad that Chiwetel Ejiofor is part of this movie. I do think it's strange that he's playing, I mean, pun intended, that he's playing a Transylvanian nobleman, so they may change that backstory. But then it gets to the point where they want to make an amalgamation of a bunch of different villains. At that point, I know, hardcore fans get mad at me, but at that point it's like, just call him someone else. We don't have to, I understand with the title characters, the main characters, like a Doctor Strange, a Ant-Man, Iron Man, those have to be these characters we all know and love. No one knows who Baron Mordo is. I mean, yes, there are the hardcore comic book fans, but if you walk on the street and ask them who Baron Mordo, most people don't even know who Doctor Strange is, right? So here's a character, just make up a new guy, and if you want to take some of the history from a bunch of different characters, go ahead. But I think Marvel's just afraid to piss off even that small percentage.
Well, it's also like in Jurassic World, they're genetically engineering a new dinosaur. They're taking a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but a lot of it is dinosaur DNA. So yes, I mean, I think a lot of it is going to be based on that one character, and they're going to throw some other things in there. It all depends on what the percentages are as far as not upsetting the fans of this series. I think that if they were just going to take this and this and this, maybe they could make it a new character, but it sounds like they're going to stay more true to this one Baron guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree, Dennis. I don't think the guy was created in 1963. I don't think anybody's like, I can't wait to see Baron in this. I mean, maybe some people are pining for him. They're
like, Baron who?
Yeah, who? Yeah, who's this guy? I did a little research looking up his name. I was like, who is this guy?
I hear Transylvanian nobleman, and I want to see some sharp, pointy teeth at some point.
All right, now on to our buy or sell segment. Sinead, what do we got?
Warner Brothers has released the second trailer for Guy Ritchie's The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Based on the popular 60s TV series, the big screen remake centers around a CIA agent, Napoleon Solo, played by Henry Cavill, that must team up with a KGB agent, Ilya Kuryakin, played by Armie Hammer, in order to save the world. The movie also stars Alicia Vikander, Elizabeth Debicki, Hugh Grant, and Jared Harris. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. comes to AMC theaters on August 14th. David, do you buy or sell the trailer?
I will always buy Guy Ritchie because he, ever since Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, ever since Snatch, even the Sherlock Holmes movies, he just entertains me. I mean, sometimes it's not always a deeper meaning, or it's not a very layered film that he does, but it's just always highly entertaining. I don't know if he's quite captured that magic that he did with Snatch, with that awesome cast, but all his movies have, again, great casts. I mean, just look at this. I mean, Armie Hammer, Henry Cavill, Alicia Vikander, to say her name correctly,
yeah.
Of course, from Ex Machina, just did a great job recently. So I will see this because of him. The story, Russia, America meet up and they got to take down somebody, whatever. But because it's Guy Ritchie, I think I'm going to be entertained at this movie.
I'll buy it. I'll buy it just for the accents. Hearing Henry Cavill do the 60s American accent, Armie Hammer doing his super cliched Russian accent. Even Jared Harris does a different accent than he normally has. Alicia Vikander, she was great in Ex Machina. It's not bad looking at her for 2 hours. I
could use more than 2 hours.
I'm not too familiar with the show that it's based off. When I first heard about this project, I don't know, it was last year or the year before, I was like, yeah, I heard of the TV series, but I never really watched it, so it didn't really interest me. But then once that trailer came out, and then this trailer came out, it just looks like a lot of fun. It looks like the old school James Bond, kind of thrown in with some tongue-in-cheek humor. What do you think, Mark?
It looks a little Kingsman-y. Can I even say that? I buy this movie. I sell this trailer, though, because I love the first trailer so much, and it surprised me. I was like, look, Armie Hammer can have some personality, and so can Henry Cavill. I haven't seen that from these guys yet. Alicia Vikander, of course, I buy that. But this trailer in particular, I just thought it didn't feel like it brought anything new that I didn't see in the first trailer, and I actually got a little bored watching it. The one thing I did like in this trailer that almost made me buy it was the presence of Hugh Grant was stepped up in this trailer. I hope that he's in this movie a lot. It looks like he's going to be able to steal the scenes that he's in. It's going to be a fun ride. It's the perfect release date. It's late in August. We're getting a little bit of superhero fatigue. We get something that feels fresher. I just didn't like this trailer. It didn't add anything new to it, so I don't think you needed to have it.
Okay, what's next?
Marvel has released 3 new AntMan posters. These are similar to individual character posters, except that in these posters, they tell you who is not in the movie. The tagline for the posters is, "No shield, no hammer, no problem," with each one featuring Ant-Man standing on one of the 3 most popular Avengers, Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. Dennis, do you buy or sell these new Ant-Man posters?
Oh, this is a big buy for me. I had sold the last 2 posters they did. One was the hand-drawn collage one that looked a little weird, and the last one kind of looked generic. It was Ant-Man riding an ant with bullets flying into him. But these, to me, one, design-wise, they look great. If people see these, they'll notice it. And then number 2, it reminds people, hey, Ant-Man is part of the Marvel universe. He's, connected to the Avengers. So you want to come and see this thing. And they're saying it in a not so subtle way, but at the same time, with the tagline, "No shield, no hammer, no problem," is saying, hey, you're going to be entertained just by Ant-Man alone. So what do you think?
I buy them because they're also funny. I mean, one of the things that Ant-Man is going to have to do, and it looks like it does successfully from the trailers, is have a sense of humor. The guy's name is Ant-Man, okay? It's a silly name, and they play off that. Paul Rudd says, can we change the name? So when you see Ant-Man, you're like, wait, what is that again? This guy, but no, okay, we're going to laugh a little bit at this character, but we're also going to have a great adventure because, like you see, it is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think that these posters pop. When you're walking out of a movie theater and you see the coming soon, this is going to be something that makes you stop and you want to know more about this film if you hadn't heard of Ant-Man already. So this is a huge buy for me.
I'm definitely a buy. Definitely buy as well on this. I think, Sinead said it, and she said these are the top, 3 Marvel characters right now, and they're marketing that. I mean, the trailers on TV, or you see the TV spots, is always like, they show all the Avengers footage, and and here's this guy too, so let's come and join him, because I think some people might think, if they don't know Ant-Man, maybe this is like a throwaway character. Maybe it's a separate movie away from everything, but to bring it all in with the Avengers, and I love the one with Mjolnir on there, or Meow Meow with Thor's hammer. I love that one. Probably my favorite one out of the 3. Yeah, I'd definitely buy those.
Well, speaking of commercials, do you think, because I haven't seen too much advertising for this movie yet, do you think Marvel is saving up to like maybe a week or 2 weeks before to do like an advertising blitz or campaign?
was gonna say I've seen him. That's a good point. I've seen him on when I'm watching the NBA finals. I've seen some of the commercials.
I think I've seen a fair amount.
It's always like with like the Avengers footage, and then they'll show like and this guy, and then they'll show the Ant-Man stuff after that.
Yeah, and you also got to think. So you got Jurassic World coming out this weekend,
Yeah.
right? And so that's a big action movie. The next big action film you're going to get is probably Terminator, Jenny Smith, I think. And then after that, it's like, oh, okay, now let's set the table for Ant-Man. You get the week of Comic-Con, and then Ant-Man is the next weekend, and I think that's when the huge blitz comes. But I've already stated, I think that there's enough of a presence so people know that Ant-Man is a film coming out. How it ties into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, these posters do a great job at hinting at what's to come.
Well, speaking of Comic-Con, he's not going to be there. They're not promoting Ant-Man at Comic-Con.
Well,
so
no, I was just saying they're like Comic-Con that weekend.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to be. Not Marvel, but Mellis is going to be there.
All right, what's next?
The first teaser trailer for Disney's animated film Zootopia has debuted. In it, the premise of an all-animal, no humans, but living in a modern world is explained through showing various animals standing upright, wearing clothes, and using technology. Jason Bateman voices Nick Wilde, a fox who is a scam artist, and Jennifer Goodwin voices Judy Hopps, a police officer bunny who must team up with Fox in order to crack a case. Zootopia opens in AMC theaters everywhere on March 4th, 2016. Mark, buy or sell the teaser trailer for Zootopia.
Let me give all you kids at home a little bit of a glimpse to the wizard behind the curtain here at AMC. Is that I'll get the notes emailed to me in the morning, and then I'll look it over. Then I'll watch the trailer. So I read the notes, and I read the description of this movie, and I was like, we don't need it of Madagascar. We don't need another one of these. Then I clicked on the trailer. I love this thing. I cannot wait to see this movie because right off the bat, they say, hey, this takes place in a universe where humans don't exist. I think sometimes when you have a talking animal movie, they try too hard to shoehorn it in to, oh, no, but okay, some humans can hear it, or there's humans, but then there's also animals, or the animals only talk when humans go to sleep, or some weird contraption that you don't. This one, it's like, nah, humans aren't a part of this thing at all. There's animals, they wear clothes, they have jobs. Jason Bateman, Jennifer Goodwin, where's she been recently? Thanks for coming back to movies. We missed you. I think this is going to be funny for kids and adults. I'm buying it.
Well, I'm going the opposite of you. I'm selling this thing because to me, look, I think the movie's going to be good because of who's behind it. We have the people who did Wreck-It Ralph, Frozen, Tangled, and Big Hero 6. But this trailer, to me, it's like they're explaining something that doesn't need to be explained. Even kids can get, you just show the world with the animals, in their clothes, living their lives. You don't need to explain that to, even kids can get that. So I don't know why the fox has to come out and be like, hey, guess what, guys? You know, there's a world and it's no humans. I think if they just show it, they don't have to like explain everything. So, and also, I don't like the white background. It's like you want to see the world they're living in. One of the charming things about Big Hero 6 was that made-up hybrid world of San Francisco, and seeing that world and everything, all we see is a white background. David?
I'm going to sell the trailer. I'm with Dennis on selling the trailer, but I'm excited about the movie because Disney, again, Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph, you know, they just do such a good job, and I buy into anything that Disney's doing lately. You know, and then we have, you know, of course, Pixar has their movie coming out, so I mean, I'm all in for anything that Disney has going under their umbrella. But the trailer, it just... I don't know. Yeah, I wanted to see more. I want to see more of the world, so I'm going to sell the trailer.
Gentlemen, we're being teased here. They're going to show us the world eventually. I promise, Dennis, the movie is not a white background with animals.
No, I know it's not. But you don't need to explain it to everyone.
No,
Why?
I bought the
animals, and they wear clothes, and they use cell phones.
They're just like regular people.
Yeah.
They're people. It's like the Berenstain Bears.
Maybe
that was too old of a reference. Sorry,
Berenstain
that
Bear.
was
I love it. Brother Bear and Sister Bear.
Yeah.
Sinead, did you watch the trailer?
I did, and I thought it was so boring.
Oh, Mark.
Mark.
I was really disappointed.
3-1.
I know the movie is obviously going to be good, but I would almost have waited for them. It almost seemed like they just didn't have enough to show us, and they just wanted to give us something. But Dennis, you put it perfectly. There is no point in him explaining any of that. It's not rocket science.
I thought it was funny, and maybe they're at an Apple store. Maybe that's the white background. Maybe they're all at the Genius Bar together.
Yeah.
You guys don't know.
And the synopsis you read was like, you had to go find that synopsis because you don't get that from the teaser trailer about he's a scam artist and she's a cop and they got to team up together. None of that's in this trailer.
Well, he's a fox, so I guess
a
he's
sly
cooking.
fox.
There's something going on there.
All right, what's next?
Open Road Film has debuted the first trailer for the Bill Murray movie Rock the Kasbah, directed by Barry Levinson. In the film, Murray stars as Richie Lance, a washed-up rock manager that finds himself in Afghanistan, broke and without his passport, until he discovers a young girl with an amazing voice. The movie also stars Bruce Willis, Kate Hudson, Zooey Deschanel, Scott Caan, Danny McBride, and it opens on October 23rd in AMC theaters everywhere. David, do you buy or sell the trailer for Rock the Kasbah?
I buy it because of Bill Murray. I think this is going to be an excellent showcase for him, just to display all of his brilliance, his drama, his comedic, just powerhouse. He's just so good in everything he does. I love Bruce Willis, like him with all the armor he has on and the guns and the tats he has. He looks great too. I'm not a big Zooey Deschanel fan. I know she's America's sweetheart. She's the cutest thing since whatever, but it's just, I don't know. She never does anything. She never pulls me into any role she's in. I always just look at her. I'm like, oh, she's cute. But everybody else in here, I'm definitely. I love Danny McBride too. I know, Dennis, you and I are both fans of Eastbound and Down. Yeah. So I mean, I love Danny McBride. He's hilarious.
Mark?
I buy it for the same reasons that David just mentioned. I think Bill Murray's the best comedic actor since Charlie Chaplin. He's that good. I'm nervous about this film because Bill Murray recently, you look at movies like Monuments Men or Aloha, where I love watching Bill Murray, and he's just, the movies that he's been in haven't always lived up to his standards. St. Vincent, on the other hand, I thought was a really good film, and it was a great showcase for Bill Murray. So the fact that it's Bill Murray in a starring role as opposed to just a movie that also has Bill Murray in it gives me a lot of hope for the movie. I think the premise is great. He's a washed-up rock manager. That's hysterical. They're going to the Middle East on a very dangerous gig. Zooey Deschanel getting kidnapped. The fact that you have Bruce Willis and Danny McBride, it looks more like a red Bruce Willis than a Die Hard 5 Bruce Willis, which is good news. So, yeah, I'll buy it.
I'm going to buy it because of Barry Levinson. I mean, he's
right.
He directed a lot of movies like Good Morning Vietnam, Wag the Dog, Rain Man, and he's kind of gone under the radar lately because he hasn't been doing big studio movies. But I think this might be something that maybe brings him back into the limelight. I think the satirical look that he had on politics and kind of the PR of politics in Wag the Dog, I think some of that satirical humor is going to come into this movie. And it's Bill Murray being Bill Murray, right? At his most. And that one scene, you're talking about Bruce Willis. I know it's kind of like a scene that's been done before, but it still cracked me up when Bill Murray's in the hotel room and he turns around and Bruce Willis is in his bed with like the armor on and with the gun. I just cracked up at that. So I'm actually really looking forward to this. All right, Sinead, what's next?
It's mailbag time.
Oh, it's mailbag time. All right, guys. You can send us your questions to amcmovietalk@gmail.com, and we'll pick out a few to answer on the show. So, Sinead, what do we got?
Dimitri writes, "Greetings, AMC. I'm a big fan. Seeing as Jon Bernthal has now been cast as the Punisher for the upcoming Daredevil Season 2, do you think if the character is a hit with the fans that Marvel will make a new Punisher movie with Jon Bernthal? Thanks, and keep bringing the filthy."
Well, before I give my thoughts on this subject, I want to say a lot of people have been sending in comments on YouTube, on our email, on Twitter, asking us, how come you guys aren't talking about the Punisher casting? Because it's a television series. Now, the reason why we're answering here is because this question is phrased in a way that ties into a possible movie. So now we can talk about it.
Thank you for phrasing the question
yes,
like that.
Exactly. So if you want questions like that answered, you got to phrase it in a particular way. Anyways, I love the casting. Jon Bernthal, I think he's great. He was great in The Walking Dead as Shane. Most recently, we saw him in Fury. He brings that intensity, that obsessive, that anger that I think Frank Castle needs and should have. But as far as the movie's concerned, I think it's possible, but it would be a ways away. First of all, he's not having his own series yet. He's just showing up in the Daredevil Season 2, probably as antagonist. And then they probably will spin off and do a Netflix series, which will run how many seasons. Then if that's popular, then we'll see probably a big budgeted movie, but only then. So it's quite a ways off, if at all. Mark?
I'm beyond excited for the casting of Jon Bernthal as the Punisher. He was my favorite superhero as a kid. I have a lot of the comic books all the way back to Punisher issue #1. And this is the fact that you get to see him in a universe for 13 episodes. Daredevil was great on its own. Now incorporating the Punisher in that world is just mind-blowingly great to me. Seeing him on the big screen is something that I'd be reticent to say that I can't wait to see that if it's another Punisher movie, because they've tried so many times to make a Punisher film, and it just has never paid off the way that you would hope. With this, I think that if they make the first film that would probably come out of this would be a Daredevil film, right? With some other characters in there. So you get to see the Punisher on the big screen as part of the Daredevil universe to begin with. They might stay on Netflix, though, even if they make a Punisher spinoff series or they want to make a 2-hour Daredevil special movie. Brad Pitt, Adam Sandler, they've both gone to Netflix. Netflix is the way that movies can be going eventually, so you may see him in a film, but staying on Netflix. Either way, I just want to see Jon Bernthal's The Punisher. It's going to be awesome.
David?
Yeah, and I think I agree with Mark. I think it would be cool to have a Netflix movie with Jon Bernthal and as Punisher, because we've seen the Daredevil series and a lot of, you've seen House of Cards and the Netflix produced series. Like they look great. Like they're really high production values, So I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it straight to Netflix. It doesn't have to be in the big screen. Of course, for AMC movie theaters, it'd be great if they could show it there too. Bring some business to AMC. But I would love to see something.
But I don't see a purpose of a direct to Netflix movie though, because they're doing a series already. Like, why put in people? What they're doing the series for is they want people to subscribe to their service, right? But so putting out a movie, I just don't think does anything for them.
Right, and a Punisher series, I think, would be more interesting because you get to know the character a little more, and you get to spend more hours with this person. If they don't feel like they can do that, I mean, look at something like 24, which had a great run, and then they have an independent 2-hour movie that comes out on Fox, and it's like, okay, that was fun. I would stick with the series for now, and let's just get it running.
Yeah, and then eventually, if it is popular enough, then you make a big budget 2-theater movie, because then you'll get the budget that you need for it. I mean, Daredevil is a pretty good budget for that series, and it looks good. But if you're going to make a big movie out of it, you're going to probably have to spend a lot more money.
And as we saw with Daredevil, there's all these Easter eggs about how he is in the same cinematic universe, technically, as all these other superheroes that are on the big screen, because they reference the Avengers and they reference Spider-Man. So now the Punisher is kind of in that universe already, which is just good news for everybody out there.
They should have him show up in Civil War. Him and Daredevil just show up in
That'd
Civil
be awesome.
War.
Bring it.
That'd be awesome.
All right, what's next?
Cody writes, "Hello, AMC crew. Love the show as always. Recently, I got to see Jurassic World. No spoilers, and me and my parents agreed that it was a little predictable, but overall, we all enjoyed the movie. My question is, can a movie be both predictable and enjoyable at the same time? Thanks."
Mark, you've seen Jurassic World. Without spoiling it, why don't you let us know, did you enjoy it, and was it predictable?
It was a little First of all, movies that are predictable can be enjoyed, and they make me feel smart on occasion. This is, I wouldn't say it's totally predictable, but you can guess a lot of the things that are going to happen. There are some surprises in here too, but you have such a ball watching the action on screen that you don't really care that you might guess some of the things that are going to happen. I mean, I always go back to movies that are historically based, something like Apollo 13. You know the events that happen. But when you're watching the movie, you forget that you know the outcome already, and you're just on the edge of your seat hoping that these guys make it back to Earth. Jurassic World isn't based on a true story, so you don't know what's going to happen technically, but you can have fun guessing, and maybe it pays off for you. It is a little predictable, but it's so much more fun than that.
David?
Yeah, I think there's this whole stigma too, is like in movies being smart. So everything's got to be Inception. The mystery behind the mystery behind the mystery behind the dream behind the dream. It's like I don't think that needs to happen. I think you can have those films if you're like Christopher Nolan, you want to see Interstellar or Inception. It's great to have those options, but sometimes you just want to see Jurassic Park, sometimes Art World, sometimes you want to see a Titanic, an Avatar. Just these huge big spectacles that may just be Dances with Wolves in space, but it's still entertaining. It's still worth your buck, and you're having a great time watching. I just don't think you have to always be tricked. I think that's just a thing. Be like, well, I want smarter movies. It's like, well, sometimes it's nice to turn your brain off and just enjoy what's in front of you on screen.
Yeah, I agree. You can enjoy movies that are predictable. And you brought up Avatar. That's a perfect example for me, because that's a movie we all knew what was going to happen throughout the movie, but I quite enjoyed myself watching it because of the way it was executed. And I think that's what it's come down to. There are a lot of movies are similar to other movies and a lot of predictable stuff, as long as you execute it well. I mean, obviously I prefer a movie that keeps me guessing and it does things that I'm not expecting, but at the same time, sometimes you can have movies that are unpredictable but terrible,
Right.
Aloha is a perfect example of that. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going to happen next. There is one storyline that happens in the movie that I was like, okay, that's kind of cliche and predictable. But the rest of it, I was like, what the hell is going on? And didn't really do it for me.
I couldn't predict how bad that movie was going to be with Jurassic. You guys haven't seen Jurassic World,
No.
right? So there's a dinosaur that walks with a limp, and then at the end he straightens up, and it's like that was the dinosaur perpetrating everything else the whole
and he
time.
smokes a cigarette.
The Kaiser Sose of dinosaurs.
Did Melis just drop a spoiler?
Dinosaurs.
All right, guys, that's it for today's show. I want to thank the people on the panel with me. Mark, where can people find you?
Online, tweet me at 5150 Ellis, and this weekend I'll be at the Comedy Store in Hollywood. Come on out and let's talk about how excited we are for Zootopia.
And David, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at GriffinDE and alongside Melis and Christian Harloff on AMC coming soon.
And Sinead, where can people find you online?
I'm on all social media and YouTube at Sinead DeFries and at that'ssosinead.com.
And you can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero, on Instagram, Dennis.tzng, and on YouTube, ThinkHero Pro. I want to thank you guys for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to the AMC Theaters YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/AMC Theaters, and we will see you guys next week.